Do strong hands help you live longer? Today we're going to talk about just that, how you can live longer and why studies are telling you that having strong hands helps with that. Welcome to Strong for Life podcast. I'm Coach Josh Wood down here in Hobart, Tasmania. This is the podcast for busy parents and busy professionals who just don't have all day to sit around and listen to a 3-hour interview on a podcast. So we get into the meat of it. Everything's topical and keeping everything under 20 minutes most of the time, generally speaking. So let's look at this. Now, normally I do announcements at the end, but just want to hit a couple things quickly. So I'm about to take off to the U.S. This evening. There's been a bit of a family emergency, and I have to travel there. I'll be there for the next 2 weeks, so my times will be all over the place. And I'll be traveling with my 4-year-old. Well, my son is turning 4 in 2 weeks, and he'll be traveling with me. So we'll be going back to visit family. So times and days for things will be changing over the next couple of weeks. All right, let's talk about strong hands. So if you've been following me on social media for a while, I'm in the grip strength training. I've been doing it for years. It comes from my background in grappling and MMA. And I've always enjoyed like grippers. And then a few years back, I started getting into like nail bending or what we call short steel bending. And started organizing a grip competition here in Hobart, which has been running for 3 years. Thanks to the effort of some of our local personal trainers who keep dragging me back into it. But this coming year, actually, 2025, in the beginning of the year, we're going to have our first nationally ranked competition. So that's pretty awesome. Now, I do grip strength training and promote it as part of something that benefits grappling sports and fight sports. It does help with, say, like boxing as well, to protect the hand, wrist, and forearm. But I'm looking at more from a perspective of grabbing onto people so that they can't get you off them, which is half of grappling. Now, that's very sports specific. It's also fun. It's a really fun thing to train. And it doesn't take a lot of time, and you get to play around with a lot of funny implements, and I make most of them myself. So that's neat. But recently, I've been seeing a lot of, say, children's outdoor pages and some accounts that are focused on longevity and healthy living, posting about how there's these studies that say a strong grip is key to long life. And what the studies do is they will actually measure the grip strength of participants, and they'll say, okay, well, this person has a stronger grip, and that's correlated to a longer life. Okay, cool. And so what these accounts and social media profiles are getting from that is that, well, we need to start strengthening our grip. We need to start training our grip. And so they're like promoting rock climbing and bouldering and things like that. And they're doing it from the perspective that, well, if these studies show that grip strength is key or a good metric that we can measure that shows that people will live longer, we should train it. But that's backwards. That is not what these studies are showing. Sorry. Training your grip has a lot of benefits, and I'll talk about those separately, but let's look at the methodology of these studies. So, if we have a bunch of people who are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and we want to measure a metric, measure some element of their existence, and try to correlate that with people who live longer. Well, one of the things we know helps people live longer is being stronger. And so being stronger helps you avoid things like trips and falls and broken hips that lead to pretty quick degeneration for older people. Okay, cool. You know what's really hard? Teaching a bunch of older folks how to use a leg press machine well, or how to squat, and then being able to measure that easily. If you want to take 1,000 people, and especially older people, and figure out how strong they are, and then see how long they live, that method's not very convenient. It's expensive, and it takes a lot of time. You know what measurement really correlates well to full body strength? You guessed it. Hand strength. So what they do is use a grip strength measuring device, and they just use that because it's easy. You say, hey, here, squeeze this, and then we measure your grip strength, and we see how long you live, and we go, okay, people with stronger grips live longer. That makes that study really easy because we know that stronger people have stronger grips, whether it's from manual labor. Everyone knows a tradie or a farmer who has a handshake that could pulverize bricks. They don't train their grip, but they're strong across the body. And part of that reason is that we interact with the world through our hands, generally speaking. If you want to lift and move something to get strong, you have to attach yourself to it. Whether that's hay bales and chunks of metal if you're a welder, or whether that's at the gym because you're lifting weights, you need to use your hands for the most part to interact with that. And so the hands grow in strength as you grow in strength, and they maintain strength as you continue to interact with the world. That's why they use grip strength as a measurement. Training your grip by itself or making that a focus is not going to improve your longevity, at least not what we see in the evidence. I do have another argument for that, though. So let's look at that. So why would we train our grip? We know that we should maintain strength and capacity for as long as possible if we want to have a full and active life. But why would we train grip if you're not in a sport specific to it? Well, the big thing is it's what helps you interact with the world. If you want to stay active, you have to use your hands to lift, move, and maneuver things. And they also are beneficial for your ability to grab and hold in the case of things like trips and falls. So you could train your grip specifically and see some benefit, but we just don't see the same kind of benefit that we get with long-term strength training, resistance training. You're not going to get the same amount of increased bone mineral density or lean muscle mass or cardiovascular fitness just by training your grip. Sitting around at your desk with a little squeezer, and if you're watching the video of this, I've got a couple heavy-duty grip trainers here. Actually, I should take those with me. It's a good reminder to take those on my trip. I'll need something. So training your grip, sitting there with your little stress ball, isn't going to improve the quality of your life in the long run. It's just a proxy. So if you are training to get strong, you're doing regular resistance training, and you're interacting with the world through your hands will get stronger. Your arms, your forearms, your wrists, your fingers will all get stronger. There's a case for building strength specifically in your hands if you're doing grappling sports or combat sports or rock climbing. Rock climbers have amazing body weight to strength ratios, especially through their grip and hands. And they get a lot of that through the sport. But a lot of them will train hand strength separately, specifically to improve their ability to climb stuff. So there's that sporting application. But if you're just getting stronger and you maintain that strength, your grip strength will improve and your quality of life will improve. And if you are interested in nerding out on grip strength and trying a couple workouts with some different homemade implements, I've put together a couple long-form workout videos on YouTube, one for grip strength, one for grip endurance, and I'm targeting these primarily towards my practice of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. These are things that I do at home with homemade implements or easy to access implements that will improve my grip strength and endurance to hopefully make me a little bit better at grappling. I need all the help I can get. So if you have any questions about that or any further questions or need clarification on this topic, please let me know. But just keep in mind that this trend of grip strength for longevity is really about full body strength using the grip as a proxy. So I will hopefully run another one of these next week. If there are any particular questions or topics that you'd like me to dig into, please let me know. Otherwise, you can follow along on Instagram at Coach Josh Wood and see what kind of shenanigans I get up to while I'm over in the U.S. All right, folks, have a good one.